hard to create enough spiritual impressions to counteract the material impressions that we pick up every day. So if we want to advance in spiritual life, we have to devote at least, 2, 3, 4 hours a day to spiritual practice. This is very important. Very important to have a regulated program in your schedule every day. If you look at the lives of great personalities who accomplished tremendous things in their lives, one of the things you'll find, almost all of them followed a regular daily program. They had a regular schedule. They did things at the same time every day. So even if they did a little bit every day, they would work steadily for years after years after years. And by this constant habitual cultivation, they would eventually accomplish some really great things. So this perseverance, this regulation, this routine, habitual practice, this is very important for our spiritual life, and everyone should cultivate this practice. So, any questions so far? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds like.
Okay. John Andre. You know who's he?
No, I don't know, John.
He says he's been coming to the site for a year or more.
Oh, really?
Since we started.
I don't remember.
But he hasn't done many posts, yeah. So he's saying, Dear Babaji, we're getting a farm community together in Bavaria, Germany, with food supply and so on. These devotees which I am with are from ISKCON. These are very young devotees, 20 to 35. Do you think this is a problem? If it is, may I join as soon as you are in South India? I will get all the Lakshmi together for life membership.
Well, I wish I could say good things about my godbrothers in ISKCON. I wish I could say that they were honest, straightforward in their dealings, and always fair. I wish I could say that they were all self-realized and that they strictly follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions. I really wish I could say that I consider them my friends, and most of all, I wish I could say that I felt that there was a loving relationship between us. Unfortunately, I can't say any of those things, because it wouldn't be true. I think you will find from experience that whenever you get involved with ISKCON devotees, there's going to be some trouble. And you're going to wind up with some heartache. I wish I didn't have to say that. I would be there myself if these people were reasonable and straightforward in their dealings. But they're not. Just look at the way they treated Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada in 1967, he made a constitution, like a charter for the GBC called the Direction of Management. And 2 years later at New Vrindavan, he said, we must adopt this direction of management in all our centers. And then a few years later, in 1972, he sent a letter to all the ISKCON centers, at the top of which it said, topmost urgency. You must adopt the principles of the direction of management document in the corporate bylaws of your center immediately. Not one temple followed that instruction. Not one. In fact, these letters and these instructions of Srila Prabhupada were kept hidden from the devotees and did not even surface publicly until very recently, like 2001. Now, I'm as amazed as anybody else by this. I knew my godbrothers could be, less than straightforward, but that is really extreme. What is the use of accepting a guru if you don't follow his instructions? Mother Swati made a very nice post about this recently. That the essence of being a disciple, the essence of being connected with the parampara, the disciplic succession, is to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And you can't say, well, I'll follow these instructions that I like, and this other instruction that I don't like, I won't follow. No, then that's blowing it. You're not a disciple anymore. You have lost your connection with the parampara. So, I mean, that's okay if you want to be honest and say, well, I don't really like being in the parampara. I think I'm going to go off and start my own movement. It's sort of based on Srila Prabhupada's instructions, but I can't really follow all of those instructions, so we're going to start this other organization over here, you know, with our own money and our own resources and our own men and like that. That would be honest. But instead what they did was they kept the same name, they kept the same corporate structure, they kept the men, they kept the money, they kept everything. But they did things their own way. They didn't follow Srila Prabhupada's instruction. What about Srila Prabhupada's instruction to create self-sufficient farm communities all over the world? Where are they? There is not one. Not one. The only self-sufficient farm community that we know of that is operated by devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, is in Ruzizi Valley, Congo, and it has nothing to do with ISKCON. ISKCON has got so many farms, at least a dozen farms in different places around the world, and none of them are self-sufficient. Why? Because the managers think that it's more important to send the devotees out to collect money than to actually make a self-sufficient farm community of simple living and high thinking. Well, then where's all the Varnashram universities that Srila Prabhupada wanted? In every one of his centers. There's one. There's one in Belgium, I think. They have some kind of educational program. And there's another sort of partial one in up in Missouri someplace, Springfield, Missouri. And then there's temporary ones that meet at certain times of the year in India. So they have a few classes. But they don't have, nobody has the complete program that Srila Prabhupada wanted except for our University of Higher Knowledge. What happened to the Varnashram University? And what about Varnashram? Are there any centers where Varnashram is actually implemented? No. No. Except in our group. In our bridge community, we implement Varnashram. And we have a program for training people gradually from Shudra all the way up to Brahmanas and Sannyasis. And then what about the shameful record of the ISKCON gurus? Out of the 11 original new gurus after Srila Prabhupada, only 2 of them are still even devotees. And one of them just had a serious stroke, and the other one is advocating gay marriage. So, you know, how can you say that any dealings with these people are going to come out as anything but a disaster? You know, my experience with them is that every time I've had any association with my god brothers, it's taken me, you know, a couple of years afterwards to heal emotionally, because it's just so distressing. It's so distressing to see people call themselves disciples of Srila Prabhupada, but they don't follow his instructions. They don't follow his mood either. His mood was cooperate together to spread Krishna consciousness. But instead, they have a grab all you can and compete for the highest position and just railroad anybody that disagrees with you out of the society and, you know, treat your god brothers like dirt. And, you know, I'm not the only one who's saying these things. You can ask any of my god brothers. 98% of my god brothers are now outside of ISKCON. Don't you think there might be a reason for this? The deal that we thought we had was that we would be able to live in ISKCON and practice and teach Krishna consciousness our whole life, and then retire in a very nice community and simply go back to Godhead. But instead, we were forced out, we were betrayed, the relationship of trust that we had with ISKCON management was completely destroyed. And now we all have to just make our own ways.